Hello there, my name is Richard McMunn from the Police Officer Recruitment Training website, howtobecome.com. And in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to pass the new Police Officer Online Assessment. And in particular, we are going to focus today on the written test. So if you are applying to become a police officer, you will have to undergo a written test. And during this presentation, I'm going to teach you how to tackle it. So if you want to become a police officer, please make sure you stay tuned and watch this presentation fully from beginning to end, because I will help you to pass. Now, in particular, this is what I'm going to cover. I'm going to give you an overview of the new police officer online assessment process, and in particular, as I say, the written test. I will give you a sample police officer written test question that we will work through together in a slow pace, and I will show you my thought process and how I would tackle the question. I will give you some great tips on how to pass the police officer written test. And finally, I will tell you about further resources, free resources you can get access to increase your chances of success. So let's get started. What is the new police officer online assessment written test? Well, this exercise requires you to write a report or a response assuming the role of a police constable. And you are doing this task for your senior officer. So we need to assume the role of a police constable and think like they would do and write a concise and accurate report or a response using information that is available to us. So you will have 40 minutes to complete the police officer written exercise, and this must be completed within the time frame of 40 minutes, and you cannot pause the exercise to complete it later. You have to do it within the 40-minute period. Now, you will be presented with 4 pieces of information. You must only use the facts and the information that is presented to you. So you cannot add your own information or make inferences. So that's important. You will have to read through 4 pieces of information. And again, I'm going to walk through a sample exercise with you to show you how I would dissect the information and I would use it in my report or my response. But that's important. You must only use the facts and the information that is provided. That's the first very important tip. So what about the assessment criteria? Well, your written response will be scored against the following core values and competencies. Now, you will be given a score of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest, the best you can get in each competency or value. So the value is impartiality. You have to remain impartial in how you write your report. And again, I will explain how to do that as we work through the exercise. The core competencies that will be used during the assessment are working collaboratively. So that's working with other people. And again, I will show you how to do that successfully when creating a written report. You also have to demonstrate being able to deliver. So we have to deliver a good report. We also have to be supportive and inspire. So the way that we write the report needs to be concise and professional as well, and representative of the police service. And then finally, analyze critically. So you will need to read all the information that is given to you, analyze it carefully, and then use the facts and the information to create your own report. So you can see there why the police have chosen that value and those core competencies. Now, do remember though, grammar, spelling and punctuation will also be assessed. So it's important that we focus on accuracy when writing our written report. So let's now start working through an example police officer written test exercise to help you. So this is going to take a little bit of time, but I want to show you my thought process, how I would tackle a particular question. So now let's take a look at an example exercise. As I say, I'm going to walk through the exercise with you to explain how I would approach it and how I would write my response. So it says, read all information provided and then respond to the complaint letter. So what I have here is an email from my sergeant, Sergeant Walker. And it says, from Walker at fixshirepolice.com, responding to Mrs. Smith. So let's start reading through this email, and this will tell me what I need to do. So I am PC Briggs. Dear PC Briggs, as you know, as of May the 1st, we have beefed up foot patrols on North Fixshire High Street. This is codenamed Operation Beefeater. There's been a sharp increase in physical violence involving youths recently, and the police are under huge pressure to stop this from happening. After a series of stabbings, I've also authorised officers to conduct stop and search on anyone whom they feel looks intimidating or threatening. I truly think this is the best way to increase confidence in the police with the community of North Fixshire. So you can see there we're building up a picture based on the information that has been provided. We move on. Unfortunately, some people aren't in agreement with this new approach. Specifically, I've received a written complaint from Shirley Smith of Odds and Ends Tailoring, which is a popular store on the high street. She claims that the presence of extra officers is scaring away her customers and that it's really intimidating. Furthermore, she says that her son was stopped unfairly by officers and that he is traumatised by the incident. I've attached her letter for you to look at, and also a case file for her son, who has a pretty terrible track record. Along with this, we've also received a couple of other complaints from shop owners, but I can deal with these. I've attached some of their feedback though, just to give you an idea of what they are saying. Please could you respond to Mrs. Smith explaining exactly why the stop and searches plus the extra officers are warranted. I've also attached a sheet which thoroughly debunks her claims about her son. Sincerely, Sergeant Walker. So we have received this email and we therefore have to create a response. Now we are provided with additional items of information. So that's the first one that we are provided with, and we know what we need to do now. This is the letter of complaint from Shirley Smith. So let's start reading it. To whom it may concern, I am writing to express my sincere regret at the way the police in North Fixshire have conducted themselves over the past 4 weeks. First of all, as I'm aware, the police are increasing foot patrols in the area. We received a newsletter about this, but I had absolutely no chance to give feedback. How can the police operate like this? They should be transparent with the general public. It goes without saying that the increased number of police officers in the area has detracted from my customers, and business has been seriously down as a result. It's really intimidating to see officers all over the place. Especially for new visitors to the town, this makes it look as if North Fixshire is an absolute war zone. Secondly, on a more personal note, my son was forced to undergo a stop and search routine by officers in the area. This was both unprovoked and humiliating for him. The officers found no evidence to suggest that he was a threat, and to my knowledge he was not behaving in any way that would have brought about this assumption. I find all of this absolutely unacceptable, and I demand to know what you are going to do about it. So, you've read the first attachment. We need to sort out the relevant information from the non-relevant. So what I mean by that, if we look at the letter from Shirley Smith, some of the information is useless to us in creating a written report. So we need to look at it and think, which aspects of her complaint do we need to respond to? So as you are reading through the letter or the documents, make a point of picking out and remembering any information that is going to be pertinent to your response. Remember that you are going to be responding to this, disputing Mrs. Smith's claims as per the request from your sergeant, but you still have to present a polite and responsible outlook. That is very important. So with this in mind, next I have highlighted the parts of Shirley's complaint that I think will be useful in helping us to create our response. And you can see there that I've highlighted in bold. I had absolutely no chance to give feedback. They should be transparent with the general public. The increased number of police officers in the area has detracted from my customers. It's really intimidating to see officers all over the place. And then on the second paragraph, this was both unprovoked and humiliating for her son. The officers found no evidence, and to my knowledge, he was not behaving in any way that would have brought about this assumption. So that information is going to help me to provide my response, so I can pick the aspects of the complaint that I need to focus on specifically. So we are then given another attachment, and below is this time a set of statistics and data for North Fixshire High Street for this year. And the data sheet includes monthly statistics for crime. So we've got January, and you can see there it says the total number of crimes committed 76. Then we've got February, total number of crimes committed 136. March, 206. So they're increasing. And then April, 311. Now, that's a lot of crimes. So then the police have implemented Operation Beefeater from May onwards. And we can see there with May, they have come down significantly to 102, which means that Operation Beefeater, with all the police officers on foot patrol and doing the stop and searches, has had a positive impact. So therefore, clearly you can see from that attachment that Operation Beefeater has had a significant positive impact. The total number of crimes committed has dropped hugely, and there has also been a huge decrease in the number of people charged with carrying unlawful weapons. So this is all great information that we can use to include in our response to Shirley Smith at the end of the exercise when I create my report. And I will refer to this within my response. So you can see now how you are analysing critically information to help you present your written report using facts and information provided. We are then given attachment number 3. So next is a police report from the stop and search of Ben Smith, who is the son of Shirley Smith. And this is from PC Bradley. And it says, incident report, I was walking down North Fixshire High Street at approximately 14:16 p.m. on Monday the 12th of May. Ahead of me, I noticed that there was a disturbance happening. 2 boys were punching each other. They were on the floor and one of them was bleeding heavily. My partner and I quickly rushed over to intervene. We pulled the 2 boys apart. One of them, Ben Smith, started swearing at me. It was not the first time I've encountered Mr. Smith. In fact, we have had a number of experiences with Mr. Smith, none of them good. On this occasion, I felt that it was entirely warranted to enforce a stop and search under the protocols of Operation Beefeater. Mr. Smith did not react well to this. In fact, he flat out refused to cooperate, only doing so when we threatened arrest. Although inspection of Mr. Smith did not reveal any items which could be deemed contrary to the law, I feel that my behaviour in this circumstance was completely justified. So again, this is a very useful document to us. Here you have a certified report from a police officer who dealt with Mrs. Smith's son, showing that the stop and search protocol was completely warranted and that Ben Smith's behaviour was in contradiction with his mother's assertion that this was unprovoked. Do you remember? I pointed that out in the highlighted part of her complaint, that she was saying that it was unprovoked. Well, it was. And you can use this in your final response. So all this information is being extremely helpful to us. We have another attachment. So below are now some views of other shop owners and members of the public about Operation Beefeater. So we've got 4 items here, and Linda Branning, who is the owner of Groceries for You, say, so far I am delighted with the efforts of the police in making North Fixshire a safer place. I have had feedback from customers telling me that they feel far more secure and happier. Miles Bingham, who is a frequent visitor to North Fixshire High Street, says, I feel like the increased police presence makes everything seem a little bit intimidating. However, I'm much happier and feel safer now than I did before. At the town council meeting where it was made clear what would happen before this was introduced, we discussed a number of things and I feel like they've all been implemented. Aaron Edwards, the owner of Dressers for Queens, thanks to this new police initiative, my business is booming. Everything we discussed at the town council meeting on the 4th of May has been put in place really well, actually. And I'm also glad the police invited all the shop owners. This felt very inclusive. So that's information that we can use. It says over the last few months, increased violence has seen things dip dramatically. This month, though, it's on the up. People feel safer coming to the store and I'm now making more money. Wendy Richards, finally, owner of Clay Pigeon Dynasty. I own a company called Clay Pigeon Dynasty, which is just next door to Odds and Ends, which is Shirley's shop. In the past month, my sales have trebled as our customers have returned to the high street. So you can see there that it's all useful information that we can use. Again, this is great evidence for you to use in your response to Shirley. And there is clear evidence here that the increased foot patrols have not deterred shoppers from coming to the street, as Shirley claims, and that the general public feels safer and more secure as a result. Likewise, there is clear evidence that a meeting was held between members of the town. If you remember, Shirley had mentioned that there was no opportunity to give feedback. So, Now we need to write out a response to Shirley. So if you wait, I'm going to show you how I would respond to that letter professionally and concisely using the information that we have gleaned. So you can see that what we're doing there is we are analysing critically all of the information. It doesn't take that long, but you need to work through. So make sure you read her letter carefully to address every single point raised. So on the following slides, I've written out a sample response that shows how this could be done. Make sure you pay particular attention. Don't forget to spelling, grammar and punctuation because you will be marked on this. Now, just quickly, before I get into that response, and please don't go anywhere because I want to show you how one is constructed. When you're ready, if you click that link in the top right-hand corner, you can go through to my website and download my insider's guide to passing the entire new police officer online assessment process. It's free of charge. You don't have to pay anything. And it's a guide that I strongly recommend you get a copy of. So let's have a look at my response. Dear Mrs. Smith, I'm very sorry to hear that you are unhappy with the new police initiative and the way that your son has been treated. The central aim of the police is to ensure that every single person feels safe, comfortable and secure, and therefore it is of great disappointment to me that you do not feel this has been accomplished. However, I do disagree with a number of your points and I will address each of these individually below. First of all, you have claimed that you had no opportunity to give feedback on these changes. This is not the case. On the 4th of May, there was a town council meeting to which all of the shop owners on North Fixshire High Street were invited. During this meeting, all of the new changes were discussed and attendees were given the chance to voice their opinions or concerns. I would like to assure you that the police operate with maximum transparency. Our aim is to serve you and provide you with a safer place to live and work. Secondly, I would like to dispute your claim that the increased numbers of officers in the area have detracted from the customer base. We have a number of references from other shop owners who work in very close proximity to your own store, demonstrating that their sales figures and customer numbers have increased as a result of these changes. While I appreciate your view that having large numbers of officers in the area can make North Fixshire look a little intimidating, I believe that this is a marked improvement on the intimidation that violence and crime can bring. Furthermore, I am confident that our officers always conduct themselves in a polite and non-threatening manner, presenting a warm and friendly approach to the public. Thirdly, your claims about your son are incorrect. I have taken the time to look through the case report from your son's stop and search, and I have full confidence that the officer who conducted the search did so with the appropriate authority and justification. Your son was behaving in an aggressive way, and therefore this search was completely warranted. The new police initiative was brought in to bring peace and security to shop owners and members of the public on North Fixshire High Street. Although it is still early, our crime and data statistics indicate that there has been a marked decrease in the number of serious crimes committed since we introduced this, and therefore we are confident that we can achieve our aims. If you do wish to provide any further feedback, then I am more than happy to accommodate for this and would welcome any constructive comments based on our police department moving forward. Yours sincerely, PC Briggs. So that, in my opinion, is a solid response. It's detailed and it addresses all of the specific concerns raised by Shirley, and it also focuses on the information that has been provided to us. So the next thing, as I say, click that link now and get a copy of my Insider's Guide for passing the Online Police Officer Assessment Centre. There's loads of brilliant tips in there to help you succeed. I hope you've enjoyed that. Please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. As I say, my name's been Richard McMunn. I really enjoy teaching you guys how to pass the police officer selection process. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section below. But other than that, I wish you all the best for passing the new online police officer assessment process. Have a brilliant day.